To be honest with you, like, the film maps an energy pathway for the country. It maps an energy pathway for the planet.
There's a lot of people who talk about big oil coming out on one side or the other, and what I can tell you is that there are plenty of folks in big oil who definitely understand that this is where things need to go, and actually do agree with some of the main messages in Josh's film, particularly the environmental messages. And one of the things that Solazyme did this morning was we actually announced a partnership, a biodiesel feedstock development and testing agreement with Chevron. And these folks have trillions of dollars invested in infrastructure, from refineries, pipelines, to gas stations. And if you want to introduce new technologies that are world-changing technologies, you want to work with the people who have the infrastructure to get it in your gas tank.
Right.
Yeah, what was really precious about going to Germany and Sweden and Australia, which are the three countries we visit in the film, is you see this love for the planet turning into action. And a lot of times in the U.S. environmental movement, we've got people very excited or in love with nature, which is normal. But the action side has been lacking in a lot of ways.
Really, when you go to the fuel pump, what are you buying? You're just not buying something to get you to the corner or go to your organic market with gasoline. Tell me about that true path.
That's a very good question and a very good point. Let me make sure I make this point so that I don't miss it with you. Nova's not a big company, but it's a growing company. And if we hit our milestones in the next few years, we're going to save America from importing 270 million barrels of oil. That's a significant number, but it's small in the grand scheme of things, because I want you to remember a number. Every second of your life, 40,000 gallons of oil is consumed. That's a monstrosity of a number. Think about it. 40,000 gallons a second. And Matt Simmons, who you went to see, has written this book called, the Twilight in the Desert.
Yes.
And Matt Simmons is right. He's right, but we just don't know when. And I was just in Saudi Arabia, and I was just in Dubai, and I made the point there that at some point they will have to make their change too. Oil is going to run out. And sitting at this table, myself and Jonathan Harrison are the guys that are making the biggest impact today to force that change. And we don't want to force it in a mandate. It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing for your environment. It's the right thing for water and air, the way we do what we do.
Algae, microalgae, this is a single-celled organism, lives in the oceans, the lakes, etc. And these organisms have been producing oil for billions of years. In fact, when you fill up the gas tank, the gasoline came from oil that's fossilized algae. So it's a 150 million year process for all that algae to be compressed and fossilized and turned into fuel. So what we do in our labs at Solazyme and in our production facilities is we take a 150 million year process for making oil, and we make it happen in about 3 days.
So you can kind of begin to imagine, if you can go from a petri dish to a bottle to an industrial facility in a matter of days, you can kind of start to picture the kind of quantities we're talking about globally. It's a huge, huge win for the biofuels world to be able to have this technology. And that's one of the things that the film ends on. It ends on, hey, look, we got to change our fuel, change our politicians, change our world.
We are asking our government not to pick sides. I don't want them to say it's hydrogen, or I don't want them to say it's got to be solar or wind. Let each of us compete. Let us each bring it forward. And let me just say one other thing. We need all of us.
So government's going to play a big role in this. What do we do? What do we do, Josh? What's our next step? Besides you making another film, right? In 6 or 7 years.
Right. I think the first step is people need to get educated. Seeing Fields of Fuel gives a really clear vision for how we can move forward. We spent 10 years making this film, and we did it carefully so that when it went out into the world, you'd get a clear idea of what we're talking about to move America forward. The next thing is look at who's running. Look at your political candidates. And I'm not talking just about president. There is a ton of change that we can make at the local level. State reps, town reps, mayors. All of these people make a big difference in how things run. So you've got to look at who's running the system and who's paying their bills.
Right.
And make sure they're clean and make sure they're standing for a green energy economy. And the last thing is, it starts with each and every one of us. What are you putting in your gas tank? I drive biodiesel. I invite you to do the same.
Right.
And what's really amazing, that what's coming out of the movie is a sense of hope. You know, it's what everybody wants. You see these documentaries and you see what's wrong.
That's so right.
And what's really amazing about this film is, yeah, we see the problems, but we also see our future.
Hence the standing ovations.
Hence, and it's really, and what Josh is really articulating is we all have the power to choose. And it's really the time now to choose powerfully where you're going to put your money, who you're going to vote for, and nothing's changed. But here the difference is you can actually see the car you drive and the fuel that you want to put into it.
I have to say it's got my vote for the watcher's choice, people's choice, for sure.